Does it have to be a judge to deal with it?
I would call the meeting to
Recreation, we got a
order
lady
for
retired.
Tuesday, May 16th, 2017.
Or if it was one of the
This
runners.
is going to be a roll call vote to executive session to conduct strategy session in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, the highway surveyor, and further to conduct strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares. Dispatcher. I would call roll call vote to move to executive
You want a
session.
motion first?
I'm sorry, you're correct. Thank you very much, Mr. Howard. Absolutely right.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded.
Right,
Now call roll call.
yes.
I'm in favor.
Yes.
I'm in favor.
Yes.
Okay, motion is carries 5-0. We are now going to executive session. I would ask and let people know that we will be exiting executive session into our regular meeting, in which we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, public announcements, upcoming meetings, and conduct our agenda accordingly. Thank you very much. Call the meeting to order for Tuesday, May 16th. We have moved out of executive session to our regular meeting, and I want to thank everybody for coming today. We will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty. I apologize, we ran a bit over, and I want to thank you all for coming again. Moving right on to announcements. Absentee ballots are available in the town clerk's office for the annual town elections on Saturday, May 20th, which will be held at the McQuon Elementary School from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Absentee ballot can be obtained until noon on Friday, May 19th. For more information, please contact the town clerk at 781-293-2772. Note, elections will take place in the McQuon School gym, not the cafeteria, so that's a bit of a change in the venue. Camp Kawani Cleanup Days on Saturday, May 20th from 8 a.m. to noon. Volunteers are requested to bring a rake, broom, and gloves. Refreshments will be available to all volunteers. There will be a memorial service for Bob and Mary Lou Sutter on Saturday, May 20th at 11 a.m. at the Unitarian Universalist Church in Norwell. Be a lot going on May 20th. Memorial Day Parade will be held on Monday, May 29th. The parade will kick off at 9:45 a.m. from the Indian Head School, and it will proceed to the Town Hall Green for a ceremony at the Civil War Memorial, and then to Fern Hill Cemetery for a further ceremony and closing remarks. The parade will not return to Indian Head School. The Brockton Area Opioid Abuse Prevention Collaborative and Whitman Hanson are sponsoring an overdose prevention training session on Tuesday, May 30th at 6 p.m. at the First Congressional Church at 639 High Street. For more information, go to www.opioidoverdoseprevention.org or call 508-742-4407. Cranberry Cove swim sign-ups will be held on June 3rd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and June 4th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. 5 weeks of swimming lessons are for only $110. Beach passes are $75 for residents and $145 for non-residents. Beach passes are just $100 for non-residents when you sign up for swim lessons, a $45 savings. Ask about multiple student discount. The swim team registration is $50. For more information, go to Facebook at Town of Hanson Camp Kawani or call 781-293-2333 or email Mary Beth at mmackay, which is MMACKAY, at hanson-ma.gov. Upcoming meetings for the Selectmen will be all on Tuesday, May 23rd, June 6th, and June 20th at 7 p.m. There will be a final Plymouth County Hospital reuse committee meeting on Wednesday, May 24th, 4 PM at the police station. Is that right, Donnie?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Okay, cool. We also had some items, Mary, I'm gonna read them. Item 7 on our iPad, right? The Hanson Rod and Gun Club Annual Kids Fishing Derby is June 4th, 2017. The time is 8 AM to 12 noon at Hanson Town Hall, and it's free. Everybody gets a prize, and Buddy is spelled B-U-D-D-Y. Call Ernie at 508-846-4472. I also wanted to, and that was the fishing derby, and we had the fishing derby again, okay. And there will be a porta potty there, and bottled water and packaged snacks, so. Trophies for the kids who caught the most fish, largest fish, and the smallest fish. All right, very good. I'm not sure if I'm reading anything out of order, Mary. I've got item 8 on, is this effective
Well,
July?
those were requests to use town hall.
Oh, which are part of the agenda?
That's part of the agenda,
Gotcha,
yes.
gotcha, okay. I'm hearing echo and feedback, I don't know if you
Yes.
folks are too, but that's good, we'll let Bruce speak at the end, he likes to hear himself, okay?
You know, you're supposed to be nice, you're supposed to be nice to me.
Okay, I won't do any more, all right? All right, moving on. We've done upcoming meetings, so we've moved on to new business, recreation. The introduction of the Recreation Director, Mary Beth McKay. Mary Beth, hi, welcome and thank you for coming tonight. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm Mary Beth McKay. I came from Lakeville, which I did a similar type of work there, and very excited. I grew up in Abington. Big rivalry with Whitman Hanson every Thanksgiving Day.
Nice.
So
Thank you.
I'm excited to be on board.
Thank you very much. I'm hearing a lot of good things with what's going on with Camp Colony. Thank you. Also from Anne Marie. So I have here also a request adjustment to fees. Is that correct? And I think it's on item 2, gentlemen, on your iPads. You'll see from the Hanson Recreation Department, new rates effective July 1st, 2017, and they've done a new versus current rates comparison. It's under item 2 on your agenda. On your iPad. You ready, Ken? You got it? Yep.
A lot of it didn't change.
I have hard copies if you want.
Yeah, for some reason, Bruce needs one.
You got one here.
That one is last week's
I
agenda.
don't know why Bruce
516.
doesn't see that.
Oh, okay.
Is he on the wrong agenda?
There you go.
Oh,
Claire was
okay.
on the wrong agenda.
Oh, there we go. Okay, got it.
It's right here.
That's all right.
Let's get this down. I am impressed.
That's it, brother. All right, we're in the right area
I'm a
now.
high-tech guy, a low-tech guy.
In high-tech world, there you go, okay. So, these will be posted on the website, I imagine, is that correct? Yes? Great, thank you. Do you guys want to talk about them? Talk about the new, or do you want me to read them, or no?
I mean, it's just basically, I mean, we tried to keep as much
The same?
level, yeah.
Basically the same.
Right, right.
I did have a question on the current rates. Why does it say Frontier Cabin $80/100 for current, but the new doesn't?
We couldn't figure that out.
Okay.
It was an 80/100, but there was no explanation to it, so we just changed the rate to be a straight $80.
Straight 80? Gotcha. Okay, new rates effective, so those new rates for cottage, chalet, south end cabin, north end cabin, the electric cabin, the small electric cabin, the Frontier cabin, the tent sites, and the pavilion. The pavilion, there is a minor change, it was $250, but you've defined it to be 4 hours now, correct?
Correct.
All right. Any questions on that? Anything? Okay. We also have, on the same page, new rates effective July 1st, 2017. South End cabins and chalet is $700 per night, includes the pavilion. South End chalet at 17 cabins.
Well, I mean,
Should be, and 17 cabins, gotcha, okay. Any questions on that? No, all right. North End cabins are $500, includes 13 cabins, but no Frontier cabin. No questions? All right, North End cabins are $550, includes 13 cabins and the Frontier cabin, so it's an additional $50 with the Frontier cabin. And this is per night, correct?
Mhm.
The lodge is going to keep remaining rates for weddings. They will remain the same. The library is only $100 per hour with a 4-hour minimum, about 40 people, and $250 security deposit for the library. The 40 is maximum, right? Maximum people you can have to it. Lodge for showers and birthday parties, et cetera, is $150 an hour for a 4-hour minimum, plus a $1,000 security deposit. And last but not least is the bereavement at $300 for a 3-hour maximum if it's available, if the cabin time frame is available. There's no security deposit needed, and it's either in the library or the lodge. I would suppose that the the 40-person rate probably still applies, but you can move it into the lodge, which okay. And you wanted to talk to us about you will talk to the Board of Health on, Emery Buzan will talk to the Board of Health on possible preferred list of caterers for the bereavement policy. Right. Are there any questions to this, gentlemen? Are you looking for a vote from this board on these new rates?
We have to,
correct?
we have to vote.
Yes, I know, I just wanted to, I was kind of leading you
I
into it.
just wanted to call your attention to
I
that.
know,
Mr.
thank you,
Chairman.
okay.
I'll motion it.
Your motion to accept the rates as printed, right? On the
Second.
agenda? Motion's been made and seconded. Further discussion, questions?
How far is Camp Quaney booked for like weddings and events? How
Approximately.
far out approximately
Yeah, some already started in 2018, so
for 2018?
we'll call it in from there, so we have a few starting in.
You guys,
Yeah.
too. Excellent.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded. I'd call a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Thank you. Emery?
Can I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update, just
Sure.
for Board of Selectmen, on the things that have been accomplished by the new board. And there's 2 things I just need to call your attention to.
Thank you.
One is, there was a new bylaw that was passed regarding all-terrain vehicles.
Yes.
And we do have a gator at the camp,
Yes.
and the,
I think that bylaw stipulated that upon approval with the selectmen, wasn't it? something?
right, so we were looking to see if you would approve us to
To
use.
use
the-
that at this, on the property?
Mhm.
What do you call it again? A gator?
A gator,
A gator.
yes. Mhm.
This is a small ATV vehicle. Is it 4-wheel or 3-wheel? How many wheels do we know? 4-wheel?
Yep.
That they probably use to to truck things, supplies back and forth, or, repairs, pick up grass, leaves, the whole deal, I would imagine. Right?
Yeah, all dirt roads, everything.
Yep. So they're looking for a motion to allow Camp Kewaunee members to use this Gator vehicle to conduct their normal business operations, I would guess.
Second.
Gentlemen, I would advise, since this wasn't on the agenda, that we put this on the agenda for the 23rd of May, just to be
Okay.
consistent with the open meeting.
Okay.
Yeah,
It shouldn't be an issue, but just
right.
Yep.
to be proper.
I'll tell you what.
Oh, yeah, that's right,
Yep.
because it's not here.
It's not on there. I thought
No.
it just says adjustment to fees, okay.
Right.
I think the general consensus will be positive, all right? I would speculate that unless somebody wants to say otherwise, so
You won't get Bruce's vote though, so.
probably, yeah. You know.
What's that?
Okay, no,
My vote for what?
because you're not running for reelection.
Oh, no, you missed my vote.
Yes.
It's no telling how that next person is gonna vote. You wanna take a
Look
poll?
at my pride.
You wanna take a poll before they cast your vote on Saturday?
You'll have to take a chance.
Okay. All right, so that, yeah, we'll put that on for the next agenda.
Great.
Thanks, Mary. I don't think you guys need to be here for that, so it's up to you, you know. So that'll complete the business for with the recreation.
Yes.
And again, guys, you have a sheet in here, two in front of us, on all the accomplishments. This will give us time to review it. I haven't seen this until now. But thank you for producing this. I'm grateful.
Mr. Chairman, if it's the board's desire, we could put you back on the agenda, and you could give an update at the next meeting, if you so wish.
Do you want to think about it and get back to
Yeah.
me?
Sure.
She doesn't want to come back.
No, not really.
All right, but
Can you
this is
also-
good.
Can you also give an update on the new automated system that's gonna go in down there?
He will during the,
Tracking rentals and everything?
yeah, he'll do the TA report, I think
Yeah.
he's going to, so. All right, I want to thank you all, thank you both for coming, and the recreation members, I see one other one. Appreciate the updates. Okay, moving on. We have in front of us the vote to renew the contract to Unemployment Tax Management Corporation for fiscal year 2018. I believe this is item 3 on our agenda. This is the Unemployment Compensation Service Agreement, and this is a formal company, right, Mike, called
Yes.
UTMC,
Yes.
in which the town services, okay,
Yes.
to manage their unemployment compensation for their employees.
This company provides this service in many, many communities. This is pretty boilerplate.
Okay.
Quarterly payments of $535 a quarter.
Correct. So, is there any change, Mike, to what we paid before in the past, or
No, I don't believe so.
This is just a renewal of the existing contract?
Yes, it's a year-to-year contract.
Okay, gotcha. Are there any questions with regard to this contract?
No.
It talks about claim services, auditing services, tax rating services, consultation, reporting services, and special training services, just for those members at home and in our audience who may be wondering what we're talking about.
And since there's only one line, if we can vote to authorize the town administrator to sign it.
Understood, Mary. I would entertain a motion
So
to allow the town administrator to sign the UTMC Unemployment Compensation Service Agreement.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. 5-0. Mary, thank you. Mike, thank you for signing that. Next on our agenda is the approval and vote of the IT contract with Unified Network Solutions. This should be item 4.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to request that at this time the board table is for the ensuing meeting.
Okay, Mike. Mike, there was one other thing too, Mike, if you could look at on the indemnification. I didn't think there was any amount, there was no amount mentioned in it. If we could just look into that, just as a note.
Sure.
I mean, usually on the other indemnification clauses, we talk about up to $1 million. I don't like the fact that there's no limit on this. Okay, so I have upon recommendation from our town administrator, he wished to table this item for tonight. Do we have to put it to vote or no?
No, I don't believe so.
All right, good. So the general consensus, are there any objections? All right. I think we're good to table it. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I was
Mr.
just wondering,
Mr.
what
Kimball.
meeting would that be, table 2?
Meeting of the 23rd.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know you, Joe, but for those in our audience, make sure you please stand and just say your name so that people at home know who you are too, right? Thank you. I have to say that, or else,
Looks like Joe to me.
it looks like Joe to me too. All right, moving on to the next item we have. There is vote to accept donations. I don't know if there's ever been anybody in the history to deny it, right? So we'll go through it. I'm gonna read one at a time, and why don't we vote all of them at once,
You getting
okay?
that?
I do, sir, yes. We have a date of April 6, 2017, in memory of Myron Sleeper, for $100. The purpose of this went to the recreation. Does that mean goes to the recreation department, Mike?
Yes.
Mary, sorry? Okay, cool. Thank you. It doesn't say who it's from, but I thank you for the donor who contributed that in memory of Myron Sleeper. We also.
The next one is Henry. I'm
Henry-
sorry, I just put H, but it's Henry Norris.
Okay. On April 27th, 2017, Mr. Henry Norris donated $50 to the Elder Affairs, and I thank Mr. Norris for that and his contribution, or his donation, forgive me. We also have another one on April 28th from a Mr. Wayne Sear of $50 that went to the DARE program. And that's the DARE program up at Hanson Middle School, right, Mary, or no? Under Billy Frazier. Good program. We also have on April 28th, 2017, from Mutual Bank of $500 donation to the DARE program. And we have finally another one on April 28th from Bridgewater Savings in the amount of $1,745.60 to DARE. Wow, that's pretty specific. Thank you very much to Wayne Sayre Mutual Bank and Bridgewater Savings in support of the DARE program. Last item I have on our donations and gifts is a donor from Mr. Bruce Young on May 16th. He's donating $400 to the 200th Anniversary Committee. I want to thank Mr. Young for that donation, too.
That, by the way, is coming out of my campaign funds, the Bruce I. Young Selectmen Fund.
Thank you very much.
For people that have a campaign fund, when you close your account, there's several things you can do with it, the money that's left in it. One is to a scholarship fund, the other is to a municipality for a specific purpose. So,
Very good. So,
There
hand
you
this
go.
down to, thank you very much, Mr. Young. I'm grateful. Want to hand that to Mike? Make sure you hand it to Mike. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'll take that.
Mr. Chairman, just briefly, we talk about history in the town. The name Myron Sleeper may or may not mean anything to anyone. Myron Sleeper was the first head lifeguard at the Cranberry Cove, and that goes back to the late 50s, early 60s. And he was college, but he lived right here on Liberty Street as you go up the hill, just past the mill, I think first house on the left, past Gorwin Drive, but a little history.
Thank you for that, Bill. Appreciate that. Thank you. The next item I have,
No, we need a motion to.
oh, I'm sorry, you're right, Mary, apologies. We need a motion to accept the donations as stated in the
So
agenda.
moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And again, our sincere thanks to the donors. Next item on our agenda is the appointment and resignations. We have two resignations. I would entertain a motion with regret to accept the resignation of Ms. Helen Vess from the Capital Improvement Committee effective May 1st, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Further discussion? I spoke to Helen today, and I wanted to thank her. I know she helped greatly, I think, with the meeting minutes of that board. And I think it was a good contribution, made a change to that committee. Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. 5-0, Mary. Next item we have is resignation, regretfully, another resignation from Ms. Sandra Allen, resignation from the Recreation Commission effective May 1st, 2017. And I should state that both ladies had provided a very nice letter as part of their resignation. And some of them were somewhat personal to take either job changes or family changes, which they needed to consider. So, I would entertain a motion to accept with regret Ms. Sandra Allen's resignation from the Recreation Commission effective May 1st, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. This is another person, I think, who's helped contribute to the accomplishments that you just listed, right? So she too will be missed. And it's important to note that she did say that she would be happy to volunteer my time at Camp Kawani and Cranberry Cove as her schedule permits for any upcoming events. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. 5-0. Thank you. Next item we have on our agenda, requests. This is from the Hanson Rod and Gun Club. This is the annual fishing derby, Sunday, June 4th, from 8 a.m. to 12 noon, as we read in the announcements. I would entertain a motion to accept or to allow the Hanson Rod and Gun Club to the annual fishing derby, Sunday, June 4th, from 8 a.m. to 12 noon.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Further discussion? And this,
we already approved that.
No, we talked about it.
no, we
didn't.
talked about it at the
Oh, okay.
announcements, yeah. But this is at this pond, right, Wampatuck?
Yes.
So, this for the folks at home. Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. 5-0. We also have another request from the Rockland Hanson Rotary Annual Fishing Derby, Sunday, June 11th, from 1 PM to 4 PM. And I believe it's at the same pond, right? Hopefully it won't be all fished out. So, we'll throw them back, right?
They're
We'll probably
gonna
catch the
throw
same
them back
ones.
from the first time.
Yeah, right, there you go. So I would entertain a motion to accept the request of the Rockland Hanson Rotary Annual Fishing Derby on Sunday, June 11th, 1 PM to 4 PM.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. 5-0 pass.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to let the folks know that actually on the 4th, when we're having the fishing derby going on here at the parking lot, they'll have the 4-H chicken run happening over on the green from 9 to 2, and with the fishing derby going on from 8 to 12. So it will be a busy place, and hopefully everybody can participate in the various activities.
That's terrific, Mary. So the chicken run, because I remember reading about that too, didn't we?
Yes, we
Make that
approved
another
that a
announcement?
couple of months ago.
Yes, we did.
That's open to all chicken chasers everywhere.
That's great, yeah. Can we put bets on it too, Mary, or no? No betting? Only if the town gets a percentage?
I think it's a sponsorship or something, and there is a.
There is a thing like that?
I've never been to one, don't know.
Who's running?
4-H.
4-H club.
Like an absolute course, the first 50 people get a 3-feather boa.
Oh, that's right. I remember reading
They'll
that.
have vendors here and things like that, and food.
For the food, all right.
For the chicken?
No,
The bow is for the people too. So, a lot of fishing for our town and a lot of events coming up. I'm thankful to these organizations because I do think that they help build community spirit. All right, we have old business. This is the discussion relative to the taping of board and committee meetings. So this would be under item 8. If you would allow me to read it, and then we'll further discuss. Effective July 1st, 2017, the Board of Selectmen wishes that all appointed boards and committees listed herein to video record their open session meetings. Our goal is to achieve the highest level of transparency, and we believe broadcast of as many board and committee meetings as possible help achieve this. Further, it is hoped that as citizens view and get a better understanding of the function and role of our various boards and committees and the people that serve on them, they will become more comfortable with local government and perhaps choose to become more involved. We also encourage all elected boards and committees to consider the same move. The chairman of each board or committee should assume the responsibility of ensuring meetings are recorded and tapes or discs are provided to the Whitman Hanson Cable Access. Training will be provided on the use of proper Whitman Hanson cable equipment. So we will have equipment, and basically you'll set it up on a tripod, I imagine. Is that right, Mike? And you just make sure that it's pointed at you and not at your feet, okay, or something like that. And of course, we understand that may happen, but again, what we're trying to do here is be more transparent and certainly educational to many folks who don't attend these type of meetings and get any updates. So the chairman of each board or committee should assume the responsibility of ensuring meetings are recorded and tapes discs are provided to the Whitman Hanson Cable Access. And of course, if the chairman can't make the meeting, then I would expect that responsibility fall upon the vice chairman. Training will be provided on the use, as I already indicated. The appointed committees are the Finance Committee, which is moderator appointment, the Community Preservation Committee, the Conservation Commission, Council on Elder Affairs, Recreation Commission, and Zoning Board of Appeals. And then underneath it, it says elected assessors, Board of Health, Library, Planning, and Water. Are there any questions? I think it's a good idea. Again, I don't expect it to be perfect, but hopefully we can get people to, take part in more what's going on, right? How many times have we heard some say, well, how many times have we heard people asking repetitive questions, sometimes that aren't necessary? So, Mrs. Kemet.
Yes, Laura Kemet at the Rescue.
Thank you, Laura.
Told that I'd ask too many questions.
questions.
By whom?
I just want to ask, where will the equipment be? Will it be readily available, like here? Because I know now when we shoot like the Hanson Business Network
Mhm.
cable spots, we've got to go to the cable station to check the equipment out. Is that going to be the case going forward?
We haven't figured out the,
Logistics.
All right, 'cause-
particulars,
I-
because we also, we
yeah.
need to, I need to get back to cable, because they're probably gonna need to order probably 2 different sets of recording devices, and then we'll determine it. More than likely, that stuff will stay here.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
hoping.
yes.
Because I think that, I'm totally in favor of it. I think it's great. and People have talked about this for years. so it's nice to see something happen. But I think the logistics that will be difficult is accessing the equipment. So if you just make it here, then that takes that right off the table.
Yeah, we
The way I-
figured we'd get something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the way I envision it, Laura, and I could be mistaken, but my guess would be something like it would be held in a closet, a locked closet preferably, right? And then before you start your meeting, you go to the closet, grab your camera, grab your
Yeah.
tripod and go.
Okay,
And
great.
then when you're done, return it, take out we'll probably have a box full of discs so that you can place it in. And again, everybody should be trained on it, the chairman and vice chairman.
You don't need anyone manning the camera, you just set it.
Yeah, you shouldn't need anybody manning it,
Yeah, it's not like you're,
right. I mean, it might be a good idea for somebody maybe to check on occasion, making sure that it's not pointed at me. This goes on, Emily.
I'm just curious, for recreation purposes,
Mhm.
will we have an off-site camera and tripod for the
Yeah,
recreation?
yes, logically, yes,
Okay,
other than you coming in.
Again, we'll figure the logistics out.
Yeah.
okay. And when does this take effect again? Sorry.
July 1st, 2017. Mr. Campbell?
Yes, Joe Campbell, Woodbine Ave. Just some other food for thought, plans, the land use boards, a lot of times we're going out and doing site visits. Is there gonna be a portable unit, or just add that into your planning possibly?
Yep.
We've had a few site visits down Progress Way, or things like that. You have to try to come up with something for that.
Well, in all honesty, that would really be up to your board, as a separately elected board. As I delineated in what the chairman read, this is really only applicable to the boards. The Board of Selectmen can only direct the boards that they appoint. That would really be up to your elected board or any other elected board as how they wish to do it, or do it at all. Obviously, we encourage you to do it, but that's...
And I do, Mr. Edgehill?
Richard Joe. I did this for about 10, 15 years, and I used my own equipment because the equipment they had in the studio was just terrible. It was Mickey Mouse stuff. So we always had good equipment to do this, so you get a good replay on the meetings. A couple of things I'd like to bring forward here, though, is ever a legal, just anything legally come up, zoning or conservation or anything else, that's great backup because the studio kept all those DVDs.
Sure.
And anything that's controversial and people say, well, this happened, you go back to the minutes. Minutes are not accurate. When I was on the Board of Health, sometimes I wouldn't sign the minutes because not everything was there, all right? And it was just, the DVD tells you the whole deal, all right? That's all I'd like to say about it. It's important. And if elected boards decide not to do this, I don't know whether legally, if the people can bring this on a ballot and require them to do it, I don't know. Because I really feel when I was elected position, under the open meeting law, you have the right to videotape or tape record. But not to say, no, we're not gonna do it. It's like you have the people to,
Back you up on it, yeah.
well, no, you get the people to account to.
Well, I think that
It's a more precise record.
you could potentially have a bylaw to that effect.
Well, I was gonna say
Maybe.
something, if, in other words, if you got instruction to something like this, because it's all open government,
Yeah.
and when you don't get this open government, there's another resource we can go to, like you say, a bylaw.
Possibly. I mean, I don't want to hang my hat on that, but just kind of thinking out of the box, or thinking out loud, I should say,
So,
perhaps.
I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of little things that gotta be ironed out, but
We're moving in the right direction,
I'll
right?
tell you, they didn't like the camera when it first arrived back 10, 15 years ago, but then they were looking for it afterwards because it backed up everything they did at their meetings.
Right. Well, I know too, it can help in terms of minute meetings because minute meetings are not supposed to be too detailed. They're supposed to be general. If you read the rules of Roberts, they're not exact I mean, obviously, you gotta take attendance, and there are some exacts that occur. But when you're talking about subject matter, in some cases, it's more relevant in general. It's not always detail. I know that sounds strange, but it's true, I promise. Mr. Campbell?
Yes, I just wanted to find out, Mr. Chairman, does the Whitman Hanson Community Access have the capability to take in more 21st century formats, like MP3?
That's a good question, I don't know. I would think they do, but what do you think, Mike?
I had to ask that question.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have,
Yes.
how you doing?
Good.
I didn't know you were there.
Sorry,
Sorry.
when we're shopping, we'll be looking for that. That'll be what we're looking for. As I'm back here, I'm thinking it would also be great to be able to just plug that media right in and remotely grab it to, again, cut down on driving back and forth. So we'll be thinking that way when we make this procurement.
Eric is our director of the Whitman Hanson Cable Access Channel community.
Jim, I don't know where it is, but they used to tape the meetings up to the water department when Neil was here. I'll look around and see if the camera's, I don't know where the camera is or where it is, but
Okay.
they used to tape them all the time. I don't know why they stopped, but they did.
It would be, I think it's a good idea in this time, because a lot of work goes into these meetings, and a lot of people don't get recognized for that amount of work, and
It's an old
even the people sitting
camera.
behind the camera taking the, recording.
It's an old tape one, it's not a DVD one.
We can see if the Whitman, if they could come up with another camera for you too. Mr. Edgehill,
I left that camera up there, and that was the best camera that came out.
up at the Water Commission?
Yes, sir.
I see.
Is that where it is?
That's where it was.
Okay.
And Steve, of course, Steve's no longer with us, but Steve was aware it was there. What happened to it, I don't know.
Okay.
I'll look into it.
Thank you. Thank you, Don. Mr. Campbell?
Yeah, just to add to it as well, there's also, we're kind of moving in a direction where we're looking at unified, and we're looking at an IT director. There's a lot of things that you can bring in-house as well. I don't know if everybody's heard about the Facebook Live or a YouTube Live. There are things, it's called an encoder. You can actually bring it in-house into your IT room, connect cameras to it, you can do live broadcasts right during the meeting.
Oh,
So
really?
there's also those options as well. It's nice to have the community access, but there's ways that you can bring it in-house as well.
One step at a time, I think, Joe, but I think we're going there, yeah. Do too much at once.
It's what I do for work, so I.
And we'll run, I promise, I know. No, I think it's actually a good idea, because then you could stream them live in some cases, right? Absolutely, so. We would obviously, obviously too, I know that most, all these boards would be, I think they're invaluable, and there's a few boards, obviously, that are not appointed that may want to consider, in which we've, I think it was already stated. So we would ask and encourage all the other committees and boards to do the same. Okay, are we moving on? Yes, we are. What do we got on our agenda?
Hmm?
We have
We're gonna do Jerry's.
10 licenses.
10, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, under old business, though it's not listed, I think it's probably appropriate this time for the Board of Selectmen to announce that they had voted to agree to a contract with the fire chief, and actually take another vote certifying that or ratifying that in open meeting
Okay,
for legal counsel advice.
okay. So we're looking to, so as a notice to everybody, what this means is that we've accepted and agreed to the town's contract between the town of Hanson and the fire chief, right?
Yes.
Ray Thompson.
We haven't approved it, we just agreed to the terms.
We agreed to the terms.
Yeah, and this
forgive me,
is-
Yes.
And
this-
now.
And this is that approval, this vote now,
Yes.
right? Okay, so I would entertain a motion to accept the contract between the town of Hanson and the fire chief.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0. Okay. Thank you, Mike. So that was under old business, you said?
Yes.
Okay, we have next on our agenda item is the one-day liquor licenses. And I would, I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll read each one, I'll read all of them, and then we'll vote on all of them.
Right.
Is that okay, guys?
Yes.
All right, cool. Julie Nickley from Abington, Friday, June 2nd, from 6 to 11 p.m. It's a wedding. We have Alar McGrath from Hanson, Saturday, June 3rd, from 5 to 10 p.m. It's a wedding. We have Kimberly Davies from Hanson, Sunday, June 4th, from 4:30 to 10:30 p.m. It is a wedding. We have Patricia Keene from Hanson, Friday, June 9th, from 6:30 to 10:30 p.m., a graduation. We have Megan Malone from Providence, Rhode Island, Saturday, June 10th, from 5 to 10 p.m., a wedding. We have Megan Rundell from Pembroke, Friday, June 16th, from 5 to 10 p.m. It's a wedding. Daniel Holbrook, Lexington, Saturday, June 17th, from 4 to 11 p.m. It's a wedding. Amanda Bartels from Harwich, Friday, June 23rd, 4 to 10 p.m., also a wedding. Samantha Cohen, Westport, Saturday, June 24th, from 4 to 10 p.m., a wedding. Brittany Stiles from Duxbury, Sunday, June 25th, 5 to 10 p.m., a wedding. And last but not least, Rebecca Brown from Holbrook, Friday, June 30th, from 5 to 10 p.m., it is a wedding. I would entertain a motion to accept these one-day liquor licenses as read from the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Although, motion's been made and seconded, further discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0 on the one-day liquor license, Mary. Next, we have the Town Administrator's Report, Mr. Mike McHugh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have much this evening. The most important thing I wanted to mention is within the last couple of weeks or so, the State House has been reporting that revenues are 2.2% less than projected.
Yeah.
Basically, what that translates into is it's about $500 million off. We're not sure yet whether or not that's going to effectuate any additional 9C cuts towards the end of this fiscal year. Obviously, it's a lot harder to absorb cuts over the course of 2 months as opposed to if it happened back in October or earlier in the year. Apparently, sales revenues are a lot worse than had been projected. The effect is probably more likely on the budget that's being debated right now for the upcoming fiscal year. Our local aid, which the governor has agreed or had agreed to peg towards the increase, the projected increases in state revenue was 4%. With this particular news, we may see that percentage come down, the projection, and hence, as a result of the local aid that we get. So I think it's very important for us to keep an eye on that. Hopefully, they can make, and they can. I don't want to say play with the books, but there's ways I think that they can get through this year without having to do additional cuts. I think they've done it before. It's obviously out of our hands. However, we are going to have to take a hard, strong look at what the final budget is that's voted at the state level, especially in terms of our local aid. So there may be adjustments that we need to make at a special in October if they are actually very dramatic changes. So I want to make the board aware of that. Again, that's the most important news I had. We have a new health agent who is going to be starting on the 23rd of May. He is actually not a stranger to the town of Hanson. Matt Tennis, who was the health agent for a brief period back about 3 or 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. So we welcome him. I participated in that process with the Board of Health. They made that decision and offered the position about a week and a half ago. I'm also happy to announce, although we haven't come to a final agreement, that the library trustees took my recommendation and Karen's recommendation, the library director's recommendation, for a new reference librarian who we will be reaching out to tomorrow to try to just settle on terms. So, and I will obviously announce that name at the next meeting. I just don't want to get too ahead of ourselves in case there's any issues in our upcoming conversation. So, moving forward with yet another, filling another position. We are going to take a look over the next couple of months at the alcohol and substance policy here in the town of Hanson. The last time that it was tweaked was approximately 10 years ago. Obviously, with the onset of the legalization of recreational marijuana, we're going to need to make some adjustments to that. Besides the fact, we need to make sure that all the other pieces of it are in accordance with current laws. Policies really should be looked at every 3 or 4 years. So, but this one in particular came to our attention because of, again, the fact that marijuana has been legalized and
Recreational.
Recreational, and we may be looking at, we are looking at trying to put together some zoning regs and regulations and whatnot in cooperation with town council, so that we have those up and running, and hopefully we'll be able to vote those at the October special town meeting.
Are we modeling them to the existing alcohol ones, right, Mike?
Bless you.
Thank you.
I think that that's going to be the guideline. I mean, obviously, if we accept something in October at the special and the state comes out, as I think they're projecting towards the beginning of the new year with their regulations, if any of ours are in conflict with the state's regulations, we'll have to go back and modify them. But I think regardless of that, we need to have something in place by October, since the moratorium was not passed here in the town. So we just have to make sure that we're ahead of the curve, and we're working very diligently on that. Lastly, I wanted to just give you an update on the Plymouth County Hospital project. The gravel from the town pit is being loaded by the Highway Department on Thursday, and will be coordinated with Bob Brown and Vinagro, the contractor, will be providing the trucking. We are going to be flying a drone survey on Thursday morning to determine exactly the amount of crushed material where it needs to be placed and how it needs to be graded. We have applied to the state to modify what we had planned to do. It's minor modifications, but what we had planned to do with the street sweepings, as well as the catch basin materials. The catch basin materials need to be tested, and then the results need to be given to the state for approval to move that, because there's a bit more concern about contamination or such with the stuff that comes out of the basins.
I didn't know that. Do we test that stuff? Yeah.
Well, for us to move it, we need to test it.
Okay.
Well, for us to pilot, no.
Okay.
But for us to do
To
anything
move
with
it
it.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
It has to be tested, yeah.
Yeah, they aren't gonna use it to do any leveling up there
We're
with
going
it?
to try to do that, yes. That's my desire, Dawn. I'd like it all to stay on site, get approval to push
Yeah,
it
it'd be
and then cap
less,
it.
less material that we'd have to take out from the other pit.
Exactly. And then we get rid of that great big pile of stuff we don't want. So it kills two birds with one stone. There will be seeding done up there within the next week or two. Apparently a low-maintenance seed mix that was approved by the state and also requested by the Conservation Commission and the Highway Department. National Grid will be removing a pole in the middle of the site and replacing it in another spot that's more that makes more sense for potential future development. The project closeout is expected to be by the end of next week, and we will finalize the arrangements to have the two properties that we identified that have water service coming directly off of the site to actually to come off the street, so we can shut the water off to the site without affecting the homeowners. And that is all I have this evening, sir.
Thank you, Mike. Are there any questions? Any questions? No? Thank you. So Mike, when they move that pole, do they run that by the Board of Selectmen or no, because it's up there on the
No.
PCH? Okay. Moving on to the next item, and thank you, Mike, for your report. I'm grateful for
You're
it.
welcome.
We have, under item 7, committee reports. We'll move to the Monpont Pond Committee, Mr. Howard.
There hasn't been another meeting, but I do know that the Brockton is still taking water now. I do know that East Lake, there is no cyanobacteria in it. That was tested a week ago Monday. And there's only less than 2,000 cells per million of cyanobacteria in West Mount Ponset Pond. So Silver Lake is almost full, I believe.
Is it almost
I
back up?
haven't been down there, but it's been filling quite steadily because of all the rain we've had.
Mhm.
The lakes have been holding up so they can take the water. So,
Thank you, Donnie. Next,
and
we
we
have
have a meeting tomorrow.
meeting in Halifax?
No, it's just for the Plymouth County.
Oh, for the
thing.
PCH, gotcha, yep. Thank you, Don. Next item we have is the Indian Head McQuon Priority Repair Committee meeting.
We didn't have a meeting, Mr. Chairman, but I have two suggestions for this board going forward with that committee, and that would be, and this is a year-by-year committee. It's a subcommittee of the Board of Selectmen and established as such. So you would have to vote to reestablish this committee each year, and all the committee members serve a one-year term. When that committee was formulated, there were 9 members of the committee. there's been one vacancy for quite some time. Plus the fact, when we formulated that committee, there was only supposed to be one member of the school committee, one member of the Board of Selectmen,
Mhm.
and the rest was citizens
Citizens
at
at
large.
large.
And the reason for that is, didn't want too many stakeholders. We wanted independent eyes looking at the possible things that needed to be done for the school on a maintenance and repair level.
Mhm.
So, the two things you need to do, those three members that are from the schools now, because we had that Mike Jones and Chris Howard elected to the
School
school
committee,
committee, and so
yeah.
now we have three members of the school committee on that,
They were elected after they were
Committee.
appointed to that committee too, right?
right, and it's only 1 year, it's year to year. So they would have to decide which of those three members are gonna be on that committee. So you have Bob Hayes, Chris Howard, and Mike Jones. And then you would, that would create 3 vacancies on the committee, and you should fill those. Because I think you should go forward and also add the middle school to it.
Right.
So it would include all town-owned school buildings,
Right.
not just the Indian Head and McQuon. And my recommendation would be to renew that committee and its purpose, and reappoint those 6 members and find three new members for that committee. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Thank you, Mr. Young. I think it would be a good idea. Mary, could we put that on the next meeting item, please?
Does the
On
three
the
include you,
agenda?
Bruce?
What's that?
Does the 3 include you?
No, it was Bob Hayes.
Bob Hayes. Bob Hayes, Chris Howard, and Mike Jones.
Mike Jones.
Okay.
So only one of them can be on.
Can fill the
from
spot,
committee.
okay.
So that means we're probably gonna have 3 open slots in total then,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So, when we convene next week, we'll put this as an item on our, I'd also like to rename it,
Yeah,
if I
I
could.
agree.
All right, to, maybe just call it the Hanson School Priority Repair Committee, something like that, you know?
Yeah, take the priority out.
Yeah.
School repair committee.
School Repair Committee, Hanson, yeah, you
Yeah,
can call it,
keep it
we
short.
we know we're Hanson, so School Repair Committee, yeah. All those things will be discussed at the next meeting agenda, we'll put it on. So thank you again. Next we have is the Highway Building Committee, Mr. Scott.
Nothing to report, sir, at this time.
Thank you. And last but least is the final Plymouth County Hospital Committee update. Mr. Howard, I know.
Well, I think Mike took care of that.
That badgered to death, yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do something a bit different tonight for an adjournment. We have cake for Mr. Young. This is his last meeting. He's not running for selectman. As a matter of fact, I believe he's stepping out of political office until he decides otherwise. Before we move to adjournment, I think what we'd like to do is, and I don't think the board has to vote on it, but I want to just to personally say thank you for your service. I know it's been close to 40 years, Bruce, is that right?
Yeah.
Close to 40-year service for the town, for all the committees that you've been on, right? Finance, water,
Finance Committee, I was on the Board of Selectmen
Board of
from
Selectmen.
1983 to 1989, and I served 3 non-consecutive terms on the
I-
Board of Selectmen. I was, actually, the board that I was on the most was the Historical Commission,
historical, yeah.
and I was on the Board of Water Commissioners. I was on the first town bylaw study committee, and
Wow.
several other committees.
Well, I do know that you've been a big influence within our town government, and on behalf of the people at Hanson, I want to thank you very much for your service. I know it may not mean much coming from me, but I certainly do
Well,
appreciate it.
Of course, it
and I
means a
know
lot coming from you, Mr. Chairman. We've been through a lot together.
We have been, right.
Yeah.
And we've had our times, we've had our agreements, we've had our disagreements, Bruce, even in public, but I still respect and admire what you've done, and I want to again thank you very much for everything that you've done.
Yeah,
All right?
and I just want to remind everybody that we have an election coming up on Saturday. We have 4 candidates to fill 2 slots, and no matter who is sitting here come next Tuesday, I want to wish those people the best,
Mhm.
and I mean that sincerely. This is a very difficult job in this day and age. It's a lot more different and complex, given the world of social media out there. And I wish who's ever sitting here all the best of luck as we move forward with Hanson into the future.
That's terrific, thank you. I know maybe Mike might use you as a backup on,
Who's that?
Mike, would that be true?
Oh,
Mike might need
I'm only
you-
a phone call away.
Just on your opinion
Yeah.
on some
Yeah.
stuff, all right? to
And,
keep
and the only thing I had to add, very briefly, is that who's ever sitting here, there are 3 documents that are extremely important
TA.
when you're a
Act.
Board of Selectmen. One is the Town Administrator Act, which basically defines the duties of the town administrator, Mr. McHugh. But it also defines the limitations of that office and how that person interacts with the Board of Selectmen and other boards. So it's a very, very important document to be aware of. It's not that long, and it's not that complex, and it's not that difficult to understand. The other one is the general bylaws of the town of Hanson, which as a member, a collective body of the Board of Selectmen, you are in charge of enforcing the general bylaws of the town and defending the general bylaws of the town. And the other one, which is extremely important, and it's about this thick, is the Mass Municipal Association Selectmen's Handbook,
MMA, yep.
which I call the Bible for a Board of Selectmen. If you don't know you get something coming up that you don't know what to do, you take out that
Little
manual
disc.
and read it, and it's very thorough. It was written by some longtime Board of Selectmen members who got together and wrote that entire manual.
It's a good reference
And so
document,
that would be my only advice to whoever's sitting in these seats come next Tuesday.
yeah. Thank you, Mr. Young, I appreciate it, so. I don't think, I've never done this before, so I'd like to step down as chairman and allow Mr. Young to adjourn the meeting. This is his last time as a formality and a measure of our appreciation for all your time and service.
Well, thank you, and thanks to the board for all their support and everything they've done. I think we've accomplished a great deal over the last 3 years.
Yes, we have.
We've met most of our goals, and we've going great guns on the ones that we haven't finished.
Sure.
I want to commend you and the board, and Mike McHugh, as well as Mary Marini, for all of the efforts and time that they put in moving this town forward and making it the great town that it is. And all the employees of Hanson, and to all the citizens out there, thank you very much for your support. And with that, I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion by Don Howard,
Second.
second by Kenny Mitchell, to adjourn this meeting at 8:25. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's a wrap.
Thank you, Mr. Young. There's cake out in the cafeteria, please have a piece,
Do you have
okay?
plates out there or anything?
I have
or-
plates, I brought napkins.
And forks?
There's stuff
Thank
in
you.
there.
Forks.
Thank you.